What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with...
You one ugly motherfucker.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Diablo 3 Season 34 video, albeit this video is designed to be watched whenever it is that you need to do the boss mode conquest on the Demon Hunter class, because that is what we're going to do today. It's something I need to mop up for my season journey. I haven't got around to it yet, so I thought we would film it and talk about how to do it. My plan at some point is to cover all 7 classes how to do boss mode, because every so often people do ask me how to do it, and it's I don't know, I think it's a fairly easy conquest in today's game, so it is one I look out for and do. We will talk about the boss mode in general, then I'll talk specifically about the Demon Hunter, and then we'll go through and actually play through and do the whole run. Before we do get going, guys, as always, a thumbs up brightens my day. Now, boss mode is one of the conquests that we can do, and as I say, I tend to look out for it because it is quite easy. It's quite easy because we only have to do it on Torment 10, and the game, of course, now goes up to Torment 16, and with a lot of the season themes that Blizzard is rotating around now, we get an awful lot of power, so you really don't need much in terms of character juice and gear to actually get this done. You will need a build, of course, but other than that, it's going to be quite straightforward. So what we need to do is we need to make a game on Torment 10, and we need to come in and then we need to kill all of the kind of original game bosses. So in Act 1, we have to do the Skeleton King, we have to do Queen Araneae, we have to do the Butcher. Okay, and then we would move on to Act 2, and then we would do Zoltun Kulle, Maghda, and Belial. We do not need to do Vidian, he is not an original boss. In Act 3, we need to do Seigebreaker, we need to do Ghom, we need to do Azmodan, and we need to do Cydea, so we've got 4 in Act 3. And then in Act 4, we've got to do Izual, we've got to do Diablo, we've got to do Rakanoth, and only 3 in that act. And then finally, in the expansion, we've got to do Malthael, we've got to do Urzael, and we've got to do Adria. So the only one that we need not to do is Vidian. Don't go and do Vidian, it's a waste of time. Now, you don't have to do them in order. In fact, that is probably not the best strategy to do it. Some of the bosses have got fixed locations, so the Skeleton King is in a fixed location, he's always in the same place, so you always know when to go and get him. Queen Araneae is not in a fixed location, she can spawn in several places, and that can be a tricky one to get lost on because it's quite a big tile set, it's quite annoying. The Butcher is also in a random place, but again, it's a much smaller tile set than Queen Araneae, it's normally a little bit easier to find. Now obviously sometimes when you load up the game you might get a bounty like this one, so that would be quite a good game for us, because Queen Araneae is indicated with the bounty. Any boss that is indicated with the bounty is going to be easier to do. In Act 2, Belial is fixed, he's always in the same place, that's nice and easy. Zoltun Kulle is always fixed, same place, very easy, very close to the waypoint. Maghda again is fixed, so Act 2 is probably the easiest one to get done. Act 3, Seigebreaker again is fixed, it's quite far away but it is fixed, which is nice. Cydea is also in a fixed location, so again it's quite a far way down to it, but she is always in the same place. Azmodan again I think is fixed, he's always at the end of the tile set, so again nice and easy one. And then Ghom, this can vary a little bit but he's normally pretty easy to find, so not a particular pain in the bum. And then in Act 4 it does get a little bit more difficult. Diablo can be a bit difficult to find, where you need to go up to the zone to spawn to him. Izual, again, similar kind of thing, you need to just find the exit of the tile set. Rakanoth is generally speaking fixed at like the kind of left hand side of the map, so a little bit tougher finding those ones. Main pain in the butt for Act 5 is going to be Urzael. He's quite difficult to find because that tile set is very difficult to read as to where it is that he spawns. Adria similarly can be quite difficult, there are some corridors that you can get lost on, so you can lose a bit of time, but fortunately Malthael is fixed. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, some of the bosses are fixed, some are not, some are very easy to find, some are not. So if you wanted to do this in the most efficient manner, you could maybe try and make a game a couple of times over to try and see if you get somebody like killing Urzael, killing Adria. Perhaps maybe do one of the other ones that is quite difficult to find, like Araneae, something like that. You don't have to fish for a game, it's not necessary, but you certainly could do, and it could improve your performance a little bit. Now again, another thing potentially to do when doing this challenge is to start with the harder bosses first, and then look to make up time. Because if you get terribly lost doing Adria, you then get terribly lost doing Urzael, and you then get terribly lost doing Queen Araneae, well, that might rip your run because you've only got 20 minutes from zoning into the game to fix them. So my recommendation, if you are worried about time and getting it done, would probably be to do those 3 first, because they are probably the most difficult bosses. So we come into Act 5, we do Izual, we do Adria, and we bounce to Act 1 and go and do Queen Araneae. And I think if you get those done in fairly short order, then that should be good. So let's remake a game on Torment 10, and then I'll talk you through the process of this particular character, and I'll have to make another game after I've done that, because of course the time would start running as soon as we jump in on this particular character. Now, in terms of the Demon Hunter, we're not going to use the season theme, I think, in these videos, because of course I appreciate that people will be coming back in different seasons when they won't have access to stuff. So this is season 34. We could use a sanctified item, but we're not going to. The best set for doing this on the Demon Hunter, of which there are probably a few options, but the best by a mile is going to be the Gears of Dreadlands. This is simply because it comes with like some inbuilt move speed, so it's very, very easy to keep up on move speed buffs. I'm going to take out all of my main stat Paragon, so we've got 800 Paragon. I've taken out the legendary gems as well, just to reflect the fact that we've got some decent gear. It's not amazing gear, none of it is augmented, so you, again, don't need much power. Of course, if you were to do this properly, you would probably put in the Boon of the Hoarder. In fact, let's do that, because that's quite an easy gem to get, isn't it? So Boon of the Hoarder would go in. You can also put in a Wreath of Lightning if you've got one of those up to 25. That will again also give you some move speed. So let's do that, because that's quite easy. And then you could put a damage gem in. So we've got Simplicity Strength here. It's only 25, so we'll use that. But you could, of course, take Teguk for damage, Zayas for damage, but you really shouldn't need it on Torment 10. You will absolutely flatten stuff just with the 6-piece bonus. Now, there's only 2 modifiers that we need for our Gears of Dreadlands build. One is the Hunter's Wrath belt. Can go on the character, but I've decided to take the Crimsons just to make sure that we're absolutely completely stacked for resource as much as possible, so we can pop on move speed buffs and fire out our Hungering Arrows and Strafes as much as possible. The second modifier we need is the 9th Siri Satchel. Again, the stats on these things don't really matter terribly much. I've gone for Echoing Fury in the cube. This is for move speed. I've put the Yang's Recurve on the character. This is just simply for the huge resource cost reduction. We don't use multi-shot at all, so we don't worry about the roll, but the resource cost reduction is very handy. Of course, we get quite a lot of resource cost reduction with the Captain Crimson set. Normally speaking, you would have a Dawn on your God Demon Hunter, but I'm not that bothered about keeping Vengeance up. I'd rather take the 25% move speed from the Echoing Fury. Move speed, obviously we covered the 2 legendary gems that provide it, but also if you can do some bounties and find a Pandemonium loop and pair it with a Larceny ring, this will activate a little bit for some more move speed. Again, if you don't have it, no problem, just put on something for a little bit of damage. Like a Stone of Jordan would be nice because it would give you some extra discipline. Conventional elements would add damage. I probably wouldn't bother taking an elusive ring for toughness, but again, if you're really low Paragon, perhaps you could do. We've got the Warzekian Arm Guards again in for the extra move speed. We've got a Squirt's Necklace, which is actually Orged, so naughty me for telling fibs. This will give us double damage whilst we've got a shield. If you've unlocked the shield mechanic in the Altar of Rites, then that will be active quite a lot of the time. Again, we don't really need it. I haven't rolled the helmet. You should probably have crit chance here. You probably want Hungering Arrow damage on your belt and also on your trousers. I have been quite lazy and not rolled it on the belt, so maybe we'll do that before we go. Double crit on the gloves. Cooldown is kind of handy, but again, as you can see, I've not really factored this out. Like, this ring is trash. It's got armor. It's got resource cost reduction. So we've got a tangling shot on the satchel. The point I'm getting at, guys, is this is a fairly easy thing to get done. So that is, roughly speaking, the build in terms of gear. Hungering Arrow, Devouring Arrow is always what you take for a God Demon Hunter. Strafe Drifting Shadow gives us a little bit more move speed than normal, so we take this. Shadow Power for move speed, we take that. Prep allows us to gain discipline slowly over time, so that we can basically top ourselves up. Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac is a really good shout for this build as well. I think I mentioned conventional elements. Maybe Zodiac would be better than that because you could take second cooldown off your preparation whenever you hit with a resource spender. So that would probably be better than COE. Smokescreen displacement is here for 100% move speed, which is awesome. Vengeance. You could take Seethe if you want Hatred, but you will be absolutely fine with your Yang's recurve and the Crimsons. We may as well go Dark Heart and pick up the damage reduction. Attack advantage gives move speed. Perfectionist gives us discipline and a bit of toughness. We've got increased damage against slowed enemies, 20% on Call of the Week. Probably don't need that because I'm not sure we actually get the slow off with anything. And I've got the cheat death on. Just in case something grabs you in a bounty like the Seigebreaker grabs you, bites your head off, you don't wish to be having to restart your run. So let's change this one. And I think we'll just go with archery, 8% damage for a bow. Right, I think I said I was going to roll. What was I going to roll? I was going to roll maybe crit on the helm. Because I feel like I should bother doing this. And we should also roll hungering arrow damage on the belt. So let's get those two things done. So guys, we're going to try and get this done on Torment 10. Now, if you do get lost, you just simply have to restart the game. I would recommend starting with Urzael as a bounty because I think he is the hardest one to find. So if it does take a few goes to reset your game, I think it probably is worthwhile doing it just to get this done on the first take because I think he's the hardest to find. Adria is pretty up there, as is Queen Araneae. Like the dream obviously would be to get 2 of the difficult bosses as bounties because then it would be easy. So like we want to ignore everything, guys. We don't want to pick legendaries up. We just want to basically come look for this little bit here, the Tower of Cor Elin. Corlin. Unfortunately, he's got a little bit of an animation which is annoying, so you have to kill him like essentially slowly. So he's basically, you chunk his health down to here. There's nothing we can press. We can't press escape to do this. We can't interrupt it. We can get rid of his animation text as quickly as possible. There we go. We're not going to pick that legendary up. We're going to move straight to Adria. And I think once you've got these two and the Spider Queen done, I think that's probably the best. You need to make sure that your character is actually teleporting like that, rather than it just simply being cancelled by the event that we're in now. This is a tricky one. So there is the entrance in. She can spawn in a whole different bunch of places. So this is one where you might just have to explore everything. So we've boxed off that corner of the map. She is not in there. And you're normally quite deep into it. So you don't normally guess her like right at the start. You do normally have to kind of go far off and in. Now, it's very, very possible to get lost here because lots of these things look the same. And we're just going to try and head in as far as we can. Ignore the vision, and there we go. We've managed to find her quite quickly, so that's pretty good. So that gives us a little bit of time, I think, for the Spider Queen. And as you can see, this is why this build in particular is really good, because it does help us out with the move speed. So let's go do the Spider Queen, because I think that's about the only real difficult one. Now again, this is one where she can spawn to the right, she can spawn to the left, she can spawn down. You generally just want to head away from where you came in, and then it's probably going to be up or down at some points. We'll try down first, see if we get lucky, but it could have been up. We're just trying to find this long corridor section, and then it should be in here. Now, this is probably a little bit more of a readable map, I think, than the Adria one. But again, all it is just the fact that I've done this like so many times, right? So I think we'll just stick in Act 1 now. We'll mop this up, and then we'll just take the rest in order. And I think now that we've got those 3 done in a minute, I'm pretty sure that we're going to be good. Butcher, again, can be a little bit difficult. So we've run ourselves back to the entrance of the map there, which is not good. So we need to go back the other way. And then again, Butcher could be down here. We'll ignore the Goblin, because again, we just want to get this done. So I'm thinking he might be down here and then maybe around the corner. Yeah, so again, you're looking for this long little corridor section for the Butcher. So we can kill this guy once. He's got no real interrupts. So there we go. Skeleton King is really easy because he is a fixed static one. So we do like this. And all we need to do is just razz it really quick to the other side of this. Ignore those people. Don't touch them. Don't touch the sword. We do have to open that door there. We have to open this door here. And then we have to open the door on the other side. In we go. This guy, unfortunately, is a bit of a snooze. So he takes a little bit of time to wake up. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do. There's no way of speeding this up. You just have to very patiently wait for him to wake up so that we can one-shot him. And there we go. We'll grab the pants, why not? Feeling confident. So that is Act 1 done. So we'll move on to Act 2. Haven't done any of these, but it is, as I said earlier in the video, easiest act by a mile. So Zoltun Kulle, of course, we all know from leveling. We just pop into the Soulstone chamber. And again, he should just be completely one-shot, so that is fine. We can then skip Vidian, remember, and we can go and kill Maghda. We've got her as the bounty, but we don't really need it again for Act 2 because it's always this way, road to Alcarnus, and then just make sure that we are whizzing past everything as fast as we can, making sure we get our stacks of momentum up. There is an argument for popping some of the pylons and popping the gloves of worship on the follower to get like a little bit of move speed that way. So maybe that is something again that we could also improve. But let's go do Belial. Belial again, always fixed, which is nice. And it always looks like somebody else has been here because this is, I think to my knowledge, one of the only places where the tile set is already fully explored for us. And this guy's got a little bit of, we need to kill all the dudes first. Then he comes out from the campaign. We remember, of course, big shock, big reveal. This guy's Belial. Never would have known. Totally. And then once we've killed him once, we've got to wait for him to turn into the giant, whatever it is, monster, bug thing. And again, we can just one-shot him as soon as the game registers that we can hit him, and that's it. He is done. So we just need him to go green, and now we can actually teleport out. So Act 3, Seigebreaker. Again, long straight map here, always in the same position. Yeah, it is easy. There's a couple of turns that you can take wrong on this, but they don't delay you very much. So like that, you can fly past this little exit there. You can fly into that part there, but none of these things. There's lots of breakable stuff on this, which is good. Ignore that person. Just whiz straight through to the end, but nice to keep the move speed up. And then I think we need to head, up to the left here. So don't run into the wall like me. Don't run into the wall like me again. And then there we go. This guy does have an annoying animation. If he does actually manage to pick you up, there's nothing you can do. You can't interrupt it. That was how I lost my last hardcore character that ever died, other than leveling. So let's go to Cydea now. This is a weird one. We've got to go round in like a circle. So again, we're just going to whiz round, and then we want to turn left. So it's like a little kind of like spiral inside. Then on this one, we turn left. Have to spiral around the outside first, and then we get taken down into the part where she is, which is in this inward bit here. And there we go. So again, even further away into here, and in we go. If you don't one-shot her, she's super annoying because she runs off, much like Queen Araneae. And yeah, you just want to make sure that you kill her before she disappears, because otherwise you're wasting valuable time. But I think we're only in about 8 minutes now, and we're making good progress. So Azmodan, super easy. We just whiz along here. We can follow the yellow arrow, but this is the same tile set every single time, I think. If not, it's extremely similar every time. Again, let's just one bang him. And that is Act 3 done. So Act 4, Izual, Diablo. They're not too bad. The tile sets aren't massive, albeit there are some places that we can get lost. So let's just try and head away from the entrance and see if we can find it. Again, it's normally fairly straightforward. So along this bridge, this is looking good. Yeah, and there we go, up to the Great Expanse. That was quite easy. of course, we will be looking out for the Staff of Herding plan if we didn't have it from this guy. It doesn't always drop it. We, of course, have it on this account. So let's go do Diablo. Similar kind of tile set, the Crystal Archers. Just jump in, or Silver Spire level 2 rather. So let's just head away from the entrance. We'll try it up and see whether this is it. Just moving around the edge of the map. Away, away, away. And there we go. We find it straight away, which is good. So it looks like we might get this done with like 5 minutes to spare. So that means that you can afford to like kind of blunk for about 5 minutes. Albeit we've got fairly lucky. And this does unfortunately have a couple of animations. They are quite quick because obviously we do the one shot. We just need him to go green and then we can move on to Rakanoth. Come on, buddy. Hurry up and die, please. Remember doing that for the first time and feeling very impressed with myself. That was a long ass time ago. Right, okay, we should be able to go on now. So, Rakanoth, and then we've just got, I think, one more boss in Act 5. Now, Rakanoth is generally up and then left. And then we want to head up again, I think. Yeah, and then there we go. So it's like that. It's pretty, I think that one's set. It's generally always the same. You just want to head to the left to find Rakanoth. That is him bulleted. We've obviously done Urzael. We've done Adria. So let's go and do the final guy, which is Malthael. And this should be good. So that was a little speed pylon thing. Or speed buff. Of course, we want to try and keep as much move speed up as possible. Which is why those arm guards really do come in. Always the same always the same path for Malthael. So you just want to head to these little portal things, click them and teleport through. That stuff used to freeze you. It was really annoying, but of course with the Altar of Rights we gain passability. Then we go into the Pandemonium Fortress level 3, and again this takes a couple of animations because of course we kill him first, then he'll get cheesed off. And then we've got to wait for the like animation thing again. So that is him done. Dead is dead. Hopefully this should pop up boss mode. Unless we've missed somebody off. Which is always possible. Right. Did we not do somebody in Act 3? Ah, we haven't done Ghom. We missed Ghom out in Act 3. How could I miss Ghom out? Goblin. Now, Ghom generally is to the right. So he's normally kind of like off to the right up here. Not always, but I tend to go right because I tend to find I think he's over here the most. And it looks like we are indeed right for that. So, take 2. This should be boss mode. And I bet you all realised I missed him. You were sharp. There we go. Boss mode done. 12.5 minutes, including commentating whilst doing it. So, guys, if I can do it in 12.5 minutes, you can most certainly get it done in the time frame. Now, I think that does mean that you can actually get quite lost and probably have the time to fully explore Urzael, Adria, and even the Queen Araneae and still get the challenge done. But I think if you want to make life a little bit easier, if you just make sure you find 1 or 2 of them quickly, and then yeah, that is it. That is boss mode on the Demon Hunter. Super easy conquest. Barely an inconvenience in today's modern game. I've been the Filthy Casual. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.